So I just finished day 34. I'm doing this video after work today. I just worked out. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm super sweaty. I did an on-demand class since I enjoyed the Tron one so much yesterday. And I decided to go with what users ranked the hardest class. So after each class, you kind of rate it on the instructor, the playlist, how difficult it was on a scale of 1 to 10. I don't know, there might be another one you vote on, but so you can, when you're looking at on-demand classes, you can rate them and see which ones users consider the hardest. So I looked at the hardest 45-minute class, and it was Robin was the instructor and his Big Bear. It was some climb replicating a bike ride up Big Bear, and oh my god, it was hard. So the thing about this is one thing I've learned is if you just go solely on output, like I can get sometimes higher output than other days, and I don't think it necessarily means I worked harder, right? And why I say that is if I'm focused on getting a high output, I oftentimes don't push myself as hard in the intervals, but I go to a higher minimum. So I'm constantly keeping a higher base rate throughout the ride. But when you really do intervals, and you really push them like 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, which was like a lot of this bike ride, it's really hard because you push yourself, at least for me, I push myself at a much higher rate than I recover. So I'm not fully recovered in 10 seconds. So my heart rate isn't fully recovered, and I'm gradually exhausting myself more and more through these intervals, which is a good way to do it. So that's why sometimes I go for high output, but other times I'm really pushing myself hard in the intervals, and but I think I have to end up going slower. And what was crazy about this ride is the minimum that you climb at is a 45 resistance. She never wants you going below 45, but for a lot of the ride you're doing 60 to 80% resistance. And a lot of it was out of the saddle, which out of the saddle for me also is more tiring. But so when I try to get a high output, like I'm oftentimes keeping like a 45% resistance, like 80 cadence sitting a decent amount of the time, and I can kind of keep above like a 160 output throughout the ride. And so I can keep that minimum higher. But when I'm really standing and I'm pushing, pedaling hard, I mean, it's exhausting. My heart rate was elevated, and it was a very tough ride, which is great. I mean, that's why you get on there. So it's great to have these, what's considered hard workouts, so you can kind of rank them. I mean, there's like 2,900 classes now on demand. So, and if I'm even doing one a day, and for the most part, I like doing them live if I can. But it's nice to be able to have that kind of catalog of things to go through. I wish maybe they would have some like by maybe a category of music style or something like that. But see, it's hard to do that because each person doing training a class or doing a class, I mean, they have all kinds of music. So, you can't necessarily categorize, one is electronica versus hip hop versus whatever. But anyway, it was a great class. Loved the workout. I noticed someone said I should join like the Facebook page, and I will do that when I have time. So, yeah, I'm feeling great. Tomorrow's the 35th day, so that'll be 5 weeks in a row. And then on Saturday, I weigh in, and kind of use the we, I guess, more often than I should. But I feel like, my followers are part of this. So anyway, I'll weigh in on Saturday, and I have a feeling I'm going to lose more weight, which is great. So I'll see you tomorrow.